welcome to Seasons of Wonder. My name is Giselle and I am a homeschooling mom to my little girl, and I absolutely love every moment of it. On this channel, I share the joy of homeschooling and motherhood and all that I'm learning in this beautiful journey. I am also a former elementary teacher, and in today's video, I will be sharing my best teaching advice based on my own experience working with little ones. Hoping to be a blessing to other homeschooling mommies, these are mostly my thoughts and reflections based on my own experience. Some of these may even seem common sense, but it is always good to be reminded so that we may store this insight and for it to help us as we fulfill this beautiful mission. I do want to share some actual strategies in the future, but for today's video, it'll just be more general ways to approach teaching and learning because they are connected. To share with you some insight that I was able to gain as an elementary teacher for so many years. I will be talking about 3 areas, and we'll be sharing a few points, maybe 1 or 2 points for each one of those areas. So the first area is on maximizing student performance. So this has to do more with helping our little ones do the very best in their learning process, to gain the most from it, and just to help learning be productive and to help them maximize their learning. The second area I will be talking about has to do with making school more enjoyable. So ways that we can make this experience more pleasant for both the child and also the mom or the parents who are teaching. The third has to do with daily rhythm, how we can approach our daily schedules, how we can just do better with that, with the actual activities that we do during the day. So before I begin, just a little background story. So I always wanted to be a teacher ever since I was very little. I remember asking my mom to take me to school and just begging her to take me. And so finally, when I was able to go in my kindergarten year, from that very first experience of having a sweet teacher, a classroom full of children, and just so many lovely books and materials, I knew that was the place I wanted to be, even when I was older. And so eventually, I pursued a degree in education and did obtain my teaching certificate and was able to work 7 years. My first 2 years were in a public school and then 5 years in a private Christian school. And so in the university, I remember learning so much about philosophies of education, stages of development, child psychology, teaching strategies, and so on. But I have to say, my greatest learning took place in my experience working with children in the school setting and just my overall experience as a teacher. And now that I have been away from the classroom and from that season of life, I think it is the perfect time to reflect on all that I learned so that I may share it with you, other homeschooling mommies who are just beginning this journey and may find this information helpful. So I do want to clarify that I strongly believe that you don't need a background in education in order to be a homeschooling mom. So I have mentioned this before on this channel, but it is something that I truly do believe. We are constantly growing and learning in every season of life. And I feel homeschooling is more of an extension of motherhood. And so if you have been a mommy for 4 to 5 years, which is when we begin to worry about schooling, well then you already have 4 or 5 years of experience. Because being a mom is also being a teacher. We're always guiding and leading our little ones and helping them learn. And part of entering this new homeschooling season is also learning as much possible so that we may offer the very best to our little ones. And especially now that we have so many resources available to us and that we can learn so much from other mommies and what they're doing in their homeschooling. I think you can acquire so many ideas so helpful for you and your family. And this is why I have come up with this list of reflections or ideas that have to do with teaching so that hopefully it may be helpful to you today. So the first area I want to talk about has to do with maximizing performance. So one of the things that I learned as a teacher is that learning is individual. And I know that in the back of our minds, we know that. But as a teacher and having the heart of a teacher, what you want to do is you want to share. You want to share so much information. You want to just help those little ones learn. It is your focus. It is your desire. But sometimes we may forget that learning takes place within the child, and we may forget that learning is a natural process. We actually begin learning from the moment we come into this world. Children are already, even as tiny babies, are absorbing everything around them. They are already learning so much. They may have different strengths and they may learn differently. They may learn at a different pace, but they all have the capacity to learn. If you are familiar with the Charlotte Mason philosophy of education, you know that she emphasized seeing children as little persons. And this is important because, for example, when I was working as a teacher, I would get so many different students. They were all different. They had different interests. And some would perform great in school and others not so well. And of course, those are the ones that you worry about most. Of course, you also want to bring up the ones that are doing great in school, but you worry so much about those little ones that are not doing so well in school. But if you are a teacher that is observing, truly observing those little ones, you will find their strengths, and they all have strengths. It may not be, and especially in school, it's really hard to see those strengths because knowledge and understanding is measured in but one way, and that is testing and actual work that is produced, and so it's really hard. But if you get to know your little ones, you will get to know that they all have strengths, and this is so important as moms, that we see those strengths in our little ones and not be on a timeline for them to learn certain things, because like I said, they may learn at a different pace, but they are learning, and the way they are learning is perfect for them. And so we need to just be conscious of that and not place so much pressure on ourselves or on our little ones, because learning is natural. It's gonna take place. It is happening every single day in all the activities that we do. And so it is also important that we know this so that we may approach this teaching role in the correct manner, so that we do not view ourselves as transmitters of information, but more facilitators. And as Charlotte Mason would say, we are to lay down the feast. So we are to expose them to all those beautiful things they are to learn. But we also need to be content with their process and just truly enjoy every moment of it, and also create a safe place for them to know that what they're doing is great, and all the effort that they're putting into it is so valued by you as their mom. And I think this is important, and it does go a long way. So whatever it is that they are achieving, we are to let them know that we value that and truly celebrate that, because that is going to empower them and for them to feel they're doing a great job. And so the second point that I want to talk about in this area of maximizing performance is to expect the best from your little ones. And I think this is also connected with the first point. And you may say, or you may think that this is somewhat of a contradiction, because In the first point, I say how learning is individual. All children are already learning and they all have the capacity to learn, and we are not to force upon them certain skills at certain ages. But now I say expect the best from your little one. And you may say, well, that is a contradiction. But I just want to say that it is not a contradiction, because when I say expect the best from your little ones, I do not mean in a forced upon way, but I mean in a natural way. Just naturally and genuinely and sincerely expect the best from them in whatever area they are in right now, in whatever it is that they're learning at the moment. Expect the best from them. Expose them to everything, and do not be discouraged if there is something that they cannot do as you expected, because children are so smart and they can see how you feel about them and about their capacity to learn. They will pick it up. If you are not sure whether they will be able to do it, or whether you are feeling a little bit of doubt when you present something to them, they can feel that. But whatever it is that you're exposing them to, believe the best from your little ones. And this will happen naturally. I don't mean to say that you are going to force upon them a higher level book if they're not ready, or you're going to force upon them a higher level task if they're not ready for it. What I mean is naturally believe that they can, and expose them to a wide variety of ideas, of interests, activities. Just naturally expect that they will do great in each one. That doesn't mean that they will do great, but just you expecting that will increase the possibilities of them responding well. So what I mean to say is that it is okay to present material that someone may think is beyond their level. That's okay, because you know that your little one has the capacity to learn, and you truly believe in them. If they don't perform as well, you understand why. It's because that learning is individual. Learning looks different for everyone, and it occurs at a different pace. And so you will understand that, but at least you will have exposed them to more things because you believe they're capable. For example, an area in which I have done this ever since my little one was a little baby is vocabulary and language. I know that from the time she was a tiny baby, I never spoke down to her or never used baby words with her or simple language. I never wanted to limit the way I would talk with her. And so I would have actual conversations with her with higher level words. And now it is so rewarding because I do notice how she will use these higher level words in her daily language, and it is not only the cutest, but it is also just so satisfying to me as a mom. And the reason that I did this is because I truly believe that she is capable of acquiring language and that she can do it, and I never questioned it, and I know that deep down she knew that. Little ones do receive that information from just the way we behave with them, with the way we interact with them, so they do know whether we believe they're capable of doing something or not. And we need to make sure that we do believe in them, because that is going to help them in their learning and help them just reach their full potential. The second area that I want to talk about, it has to do with making the whole experience more enjoyable. And I do want to say that a lot of these points may connect with other areas. So one point may be helpful in one area as well as another area. So what I wanted to talk about in this area, something that I learned as a teacher that helped me so much throughout my career, is the importance of gaining their favor and just be likable. And I know that some people may disagree with me, because I know in both parenthood and teachers, some people say you are not there to be liked by your students, or I'm not here to be liked by my children. And so some people may believe that way, and I greatly respect that. This is my opinion based on my own experience. But I believe that this is so helpful. And even as a mom, I do want to be my little girl's friend. I think that you can do both. I think you can be a friend and maintain that authority. I think that you can. And so I truly want to be her friend because I want to be the person that she trusts, the person that she can go to when she is in need of advice or when she is in need of comfort. I do hope to be that person, and I do hope to be close to her. And in being a teacher, and in being an elementary teacher, I just wanted to maintain that positive relationship with my students where they felt safe with me and comfortable. And I just wanted to create an overall pleasant experience for them. I also want to mention that I think this helps so much with discipline. You wouldn't really think that it would help, but in my case, I feel that it helps so much with discipline, especially because I never was that teacher who would scream at her students. It just wasn't me. I think that all teachers are different in the way they discipline their little ones. And I always try to maintain that authority, but never in a disrespectful way. And so I think that this helped me so much, being likable, being friendly with my little ones, being kind, because they were so grateful that they wanted to some way return that kindness, and that is why I believe that they wanted to behave and also perform well in school. And so I think that it is very important. And in homeschool, it is also important because we want this experience to be pleasant for our little ones. And so we are to show them kindness, show them respect, show them love. And I am so blessed that I get to stay here with my little one. I feel so blessed because I get to show her love throughout the day, give her hugs and kisses, and just be there for her. And I think this is so important that we remember it is important that we are likable and that they do feel safe with us. And I just think this is so helpful in the overall experience of homeschooling, creating just a beautiful atmosphere and also just a beautiful memories with our little ones. I think this is very helpful, and it does go a long way even with discipline. So the next one that I believe has to do with what I talked about previously is humor. So using humor in our lessons, as we teach them, and I don't mean like a lot of humor. I just mean once in a while, because it is something that as humans we appreciate, and it makes everything so much more enjoyable. Whatever it is that we're working on, whatever it is that we're listening to, if we can make something have just a little bit of humor, it's gonna make everything just so much more lovely. And I think with little ones it's so easy because they find everything funny. Just a little bit of silliness, just a little bit of exaggeration. They find it so funny. And I think that it is also important, and it will help make the experience more pleasant. In the same area of making school more pleasant, and this is one of the greatest things that I learned as a teacher, is to be enthusiastic about what you're teaching. So no matter what it is, when you go in there, have that energy, have that positive attitude. I think that if you love learning, this is so easy for you because, for example, in my case, I truly love learning. And so every time that I am going to teach something, I know that my little one knows how much I love it and how excited I am to teach that to her. And I think this is so important because we are basically modeling that love of learning for them. And also remember that our attitude is contagious no matter what it is. So if we have a positive attitude towards the subject matter and we go in there with a smile and just so excited about learning, I think that is also going to transfer onto them. And so that's why I think it is so important. It helps them not only learn better. It also helps so that the experience is more pleasant. And so the last area I wanted to talk about is daily rhythm. And there's just one thing that I want to share with you, and that is the importance of being flexible. And I learned this as a teacher because being a teacher requires you to be flexible. There are so many things that come up. You may have a lesson plan, but there may be an interruption. There may be something may happen, or something else may be going on. Maybe an event, maybe a parent-teacher conference. You have to be flexible. You have to be patient. And so things are not always going to go the way that you planned. And so the same is in homeschool. You need to be flexible. Last week, our family got sick and I had to make a choice, and I decided not to have homeschool for the whole week because I knew that if I did push myself, and my little one, I think that we probably could have gotten it done, but it wasn't going to be the best quality because our minds were not there, and I also couldn't make my little one do homeschool when she wasn't feeling well. And so you have to be flexible. Sometimes what you expect is not going to happen. It may be on a daily basis. For example, maybe you are reading a book and you notice that your little one is wandering off. It may be the time to stop, or even a lesson. Maybe they're not completely focused anymore and you have to stop. And so sometimes you have to learn to stop. You have to know when to stop. And that is part of being flexible. Just know that it is important to do that. I know that we want to be structured and we want to accomplish so much, but sometimes it's not worth it. So we need to know that a lot of things will come up, and sometimes the best decisions are to stop or to do something a little bit different or modify, and we need to be ready to do that every single day. And also about the daily rhythm, I wanted to say that it is important for them to take breaks. Even if they're tiny little breaks, they do need those breaks. And so just have them get up, have them go get a little snack, whatever it is. They do need a little break. It just helps them relieve their stress, or it just helps them rest for a little bit and then come back strong. So it is important. And so that was it. Those are my reflections. That is what I learned as a teacher through my experience working with little ones. And I think that it definitely transfers now with homeschooling. And so I wanted to share that with you. And I would love to know, what is the greatest thing that you have learned in your own experience, whether in motherhood or homeschooling? What is your greatest tip or advice that you could share with us, or reflection or idea? Just anything that you could share with us. I would love to know. I love learning from other moms. I would greatly appreciate it if you share that with us. Or if you have a question about anything that I said. I do hope I made sense. But if you have any questions also, please let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching today. I am so grateful for all my subscribers, and I always do hope that my video was helpful in some way. And so I thank you. I am so grateful. I hope that you're having a wonderful week. And again, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.